At Phileo by Lesaffre, we're very much focused on supporting farmers to be more profitable, increase their productivity, and also to enhance their sustainability. Many dairy farmers in the UK and Ireland have established spring systems of milk production, which allows them to maximise the amount of milk that can be produced from grazed grass. In well-managed dairy systems, where grassland management is optimal and management of the cow is good, 4,000 to 5,000 litres being produced from grazed grass is not uncommon. Whilst grassland management is critically important to the success of a spring calving grazing system, it's equally important that we have a laser focus on the nutritional and management needs of the cow. One of the major challenges with grass is that it's highly variable in its nutritional and dry matter content, and this variability can have real adverse effects in terms of dry matter intake, but also on rumen function, and this can have serious implications for the production performance of the herd, but also the fertility of the herd.
The common thread throughout the grazing season is the rumen and the rumen microbiome. The more we can optimise rumen fermentation, the better we can utilise grass for cow performance and milk production. Grazed grass is obviously one of the cheapest feeds available on farm, and often one of the highest quality as well when it's in its lush, leafy and digestible state. However, there are a number of changes that happen to the grass plant throughout the grazing season and a number of key pinch points to be wary of. Firstly, in the early spring period, we're looking to get cows out from a silage-based diet usually onto grazed grass, and that represents a change for the cow and more importantly, a change for her rumen microbes. And one thing the rumen microbes don't like is change. We usually say it takes 3 weeks to fully adjust to a change in diet. Some of the things we can do to ease that transition, it's often useful to turn them out, say, for 3 to 4 hours initially and gradually build up the level of grazed grass in the diet. The next important pinch point is that we're often turning cows out freshly calved that are in their early lactation period and quite vulnerable from a metabolic point of view. Because one of the biggest challenges in the early lactation period is the cow's nutrient requirements have increased substantially and her dry matter intakes are still catching up. So we enter what's known as a period of negative energy balance, and that just means that the cow has to mobilise some of her own reserves in order to meet the shortfall. Now obviously this is a natural process and we generally think that less than half a body condition score loss in the first 30 days is acceptable, and any more than that we know is very detrimental to productivity, fertility, and has a number of knock-on effects that we don't want to see. In order to manage the severity of negative energy balance in the first 100 days or early lactation period, it's important to be realistic with dry matter intake assessments from grazed grass and to bring in the necessary supplement to complement grazed grass. A supplement ideally containing a balanced starch supply to help with slower degrading energy sources and more bypass protein, just to complement what the grazed grass isn't providing. Another pinch point in most years is when we enter into the second rotation around the beginning to middle of April. Grass regrowths become much more digestible, have much lower fibre content, are generally higher in sugars depending on the inclement weather, and this highly digestible second round grass is obviously very good from a milk and milk solids point of view, but it can lead to a sharp drop in rumen pH or increase the acidity levels in the rumen, also known as sub-acute ruminal acidosis or SARA, which really hits some of the beneficial microbes like your fibre digesting species at a time when cows are hitting peak milk yield, and peak milk production, as we know, dictates performance for the whole lactation. So it really makes sense to look after the rumen during this period. As we move through the summer period into June, even late May, grass tends to naturally enter its reproductive phase and become higher in fibre content, which represents a challenge to the rumen microbes as it's quite a bit harder to digest. This is also happening more and more during periods of a moisture deficit, where grass is sending up a seed head at much lower covers. Research on Actisaf has been proven to help with many of the issues that show up during the grazing season. Actisaf has proven to help aid the transition between diets by helping the rumen microbes adapt quicker. Actisaf also helps to optimise the rumen fermentation process by encouraging specific microbes like Megasphaera elsdeni, which takes lactic acid and converts it into propionic acid. This has a dual effect of helping to regulate rumen pH, but it also increases the energy supply available to the cow in the form of propionate. And we know propionate is a key nutrient source in early lactation, well proven to limit negative energy balance. Actisaf has been consistently proven to improve fibre digestibility by encouraging key fibre digesting species in the rumen, which is particularly important during periods where grass enters its reproductive phase. Research has shown up to a 45% increase in NDF digestibility, which is a key measure of fibre in the diet. By looking after the rumen throughout the grazing season, Actisaf is helping dairy farmers can become even more profitable and sustainable.